We've been breaking down the divisions across the NFL, and on today's episode, we land on the NFC North. Are the Lions at risk of taking a step back? Is this season for the Green Bay Packers on the shoulders of Jordan Love? How much pressure is on the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams? And do we really believe in JJ McCarthy? Y'all know we going to talk about it and break it all down right after this.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host, Ted Bobby, joined by Stevo. So if y'all tuned in, man, make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe. Stevo, what's the word?
Yo.
But hey, a lot of things going on around the NFL. OTAs is getting started to come around. So y'all know if y'all locked in, we're going to keep bringing that fire for y'all over here on NFL Central and keep this thing going. But we talking about the NFC North on today's episode. Stevo, we gonna kick things off with the guys that won a division this last season. The Detroit Lions. They took some losses. They had a bunch of injuries this past season. They were still able to win a division, but then got their teeth kicked in the playoffs and got sent home early. And then after that, they got gut punched by losing Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson as those two coordinators went on to take new head coaching roles and progress in their careers. What are your thoughts on the Detroit Lions this upcoming season?
Man, it's like you want to go with consistency, you want to go with everything, but with them losing so much and to me, not addressing the glaring issue that they've been having the last few years enough, I feel like they're not going to be able to be the same team to duplicate what they've been doing the last 2 years, especially with the lack of talent they just lost and well, they don't have. I won't say they lost. They just don't have it on the defensive side, and then the lack of coaching they just lost. And I don't see a team still upholding the same values and the same chemistry and the same things that they've been running through the last 3 to 4 years. When two big coordinators leave, not just one, two of them. Now I understand the head coach is still there, and a lot of people in Detroit feel like, well, he's the guy that's running the show. So if he can keep it, if he's been able to keep it afloat this long, then we can keep it going. But when it's somebody as I don't know, not too many great head coaches. If they lose one of their key. Like I'm thinking right now, if Andy Reid loses Steve Spagnuolo, I don't think they're going to be the same type of team. You think back when Philly started getting their defense was trouble. They was looking for a new DC. Didn't necessarily work out. Found another DC. Then it worked out. Like it don't always happen. So like with Philly was in the championship one year. Next year they wasn't in it. Then they got right back to it. So like I want to say they'll be back into the same position, but it'd be very difficult. Plus, like I said, I don't think they touched on the defense enough. Yeah, the players are coming back that was hurt, but the players that was hurt wasn't already that good anyway.
Facts. Like the crazy thing is that when you talk about the Detroit Lions, you look at Aiden Hutchinson. He coming off that leg injury. Me personally, I don't expect him to miss a beat. I expect him to come back healthy and be ready to ball out and help the Detroit Lions go out there and do absolutely everything that and give them absolutely everything that he can give them. But if you're just looking at the draft selection, they didn't really address some of their needs. I get it by picking up Talik Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State. That's a big pickup. But then you went guard, wide receiver guard, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you still refuse to address your defensive line who needed a lot of help. Y'all went out there and y'all picked up Zadarius Smith this past season to come in and help. And after that, y'all just let them go. And some of the big acquisitions that they had this past offseason, you pick up a cornerback and DJ Reed, you pick up linebacker Derek Barnes, you pick up Marcus Davenport, that's an edge. just a couple guys that's on 1 year deals, and you're really trying to see what they can potentially give you. In Stevo, they still got Alquan Muhammad. We know what he was doing for us in Chicago. Come on, bro.
Not too
And
much.
you know what I'm saying? Not too much. But I think that, to your point, is going to be crucial for the Detroit Lions in this aspect, because a lot of people is giving Dan Campbell the hoorah and the uppity ups for being a culture setter. Okay, you could set the culture, but to Steve
Yeah.
O's point, who's gonna be calling the plays? Because Aaron Glenn, for all the shits and that he received this past season for how his defense looked, hey, we seen Jared Goff go out there and throw interception after interception in that playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then the way that your offense was humming all season long and for the last few years, that coordinator is no longer there. Yes, y'all promoted somebody from within and said that there's not going to be many changes, but my question is, how could there not be many changes when you supposed to now be leading
It's not your offense. Yeah.
you supposed to now be leading the charge? So it's definitely going to be a difficult thing for the Detroit Lions, and I'm looking at them kind of sideways because, to your point, again, we looked at the Philadelphia Eagles. They was in a Super Bowl. They lose their two coordinators to head coach positions. They start off the season well, and then they go on a 6-game losing streak to end the season and get bounced out early in the playoffs. And what does a demoralizing loss like the Detroit Lions suffered this past season do for a team? Hey, if you ain't getting us in the best position to win games, we don't give a fuck how much you gonna yell, Dan
No,
Campbell.
for real. Facts. That, yeah, all that hollering shit go out the door real fast. Like, especially if you're in and out translation of wins. And not only that, his personality when it comes to football, he's very aggressive. Like, if you're going to be very aggressive and them shit's not working out, they've been working out over the last 3 years. There's been cases where they didn't work out and they got on your ass for it. If you have a season of it not working out, that that ain't good, especially out of Detroit.
Yeah, because that creativity for the offense is what allowed them to still
To
be able
be
to win
aggressive.
games
Yeah.
and be aggressive when guys on the defensive side went down. Does this new OC still have that creativity? Yeah, we gonna see. We
Remains
gonna
to
be
be
watching.
seen.
We gonna be watching.
There's one thing I know about coordinators, like, they're all different in their own
Yeah,
different ways. Either from like you, like we'll be very very glaring. Like we already know Ben was a very we gonna run this ball, and then we gonna start passing. Like this mother could come in be pass all over the damn yard.
on the real, and kick it off. It just neglect or negate what's back there in that backfield with Jameer Gibbs and Monty. You could definitely forget about them guys, especially when you thinking like, hey, Sam Laporta took a step back this past season, kind of in a way, but now he's saying that he wants to have a bounce back season. In your mind as a coordinator, do you put that over everything else that matters to winning football? It's gonna be real, real
Mm-hmm.
interesting to see what they do in Detroit. Cause man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm looking at Detroit like they could potentially take a step back because we know how important coach it is in this sport. You can go out there and win a couple games as a superstar team over there in the other leagues like the NBA, but coaching really, really is very, very important in the NFL. So it's a
Extremely.
lot different. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. But let's move on to those Green Bay Packers, bro. Green Bay Packers had themselves a disappointing loss last season in the playoffs as well. Didn't really do much, Stevo. Not even gonna lie to you. Like they picked up a couple pieces. You pick up guard Aaron Banks, which a lot of people felt like was kind of like an overpay for him. You signed cornerback Nate Hobbs from the Vegas Raiders, and then
Oh yeah.
you go out there and you still got Jair Alexander, who is still on the fence, is what it looks like from the outside looking in. And then you sign guys like Miko Hardman, and your draft it was a little shaky for me as well. Like you went to go get Matthew Golden, that was a real good selection, and then after that it was like a bunch of what is it? But the question is how much of this season is going to be placed on the shoulders of Jordan Love, because it's a lot of people that's now listening to us when we was like, bro, don't fall for the okey doke. He had a good 8 weeks, and then this past season we like, bro, it's too up and down. And now we moving into this season to where they're giving you more weapons on the offensive side, addressing the offensive line again, and your defense still got a bunch of young punks over there. So how much of this season is on Jordan Love?
Quite a bit because you got a franchise that not only does the front office feel it, but a lot of the players and more importantly, most important players feel the same way. They feel like they're only a couple pieces away from winning it
Mm,
all. And to be quite honest, like if you add the offense that they added, the wide receivers that they added, the online additions, it couldn't help them. And they was a dangerous team in the playoffs, especially with a running back like Josh Jacobs in the backfield. So if they play fundamental football and that mother don't turn the ball over like he been doing, they could be a very dangerous team because we already know they got a championship type defense,
hmm
and that's something they always can do. So the defense still humming. Josh Jacobs still one of the best running backs in the league. You got some additions at wide receiver. For some reason, no matter who your wide receivers is, the motherfuckers are always college open, so it don't even matter. So I think it's gonna be a 80% on the weasel is what we call him. And Jordan Love. It's gonna be on him. Like if he's able to take care of the ball, that's gonna determine the type of season that they have.
I agree, bro, because it's too many times to where we sit there and we sat there and people thought we were just hating because we Bears fans. But we always like I tell people all the time, we love the sport more than necessarily the team. We love football so much we can go and watch any damn game, regardless of who's playing. So when we was telling people like, hey, Jordan Love, he balling, but a lot of these moments the way you see him balling, he throwing up Hail Mary passes and the
Yeah,
guys just coming down with the ball.
it's what I call throw it
On the
because he
real.
just throw
You're
that
like, hold on,
bitch.
hold on, hold on. Is he got the interception? No, the wide receiver came down with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I'm looking at Jordan Love. Like, bro, you if you want to go out there and you don't want to just be this quarterback that's highly paid and you know what I'm saying, the doubt starts to creep in with you. You got to go out there and you got to have a solid season, not a good 8 weeks, not a good 4 weeks. We talking about a whole consistent season. When you look at Jordan Love, I think the guy is hella talented, but like I said, he gets in the way of just chucking up Hail Marys, and at some point, that shit is not going to work out for him because teams are going to pick up on that, and then you see after so many times you get complacent. You see those things work out for you more times than not. Now you just start doing stuff in hopes that it's gonna happen for you. But I think that with the team, the way that is mapped out, they got a chance to make some noise within the division and in the NFC. But it's all gonna be placed on Jordan Love, bro.
Yep. Yeah, and that's all it's gonna be. Taking care of the ball. It's almost like he trying to live up to Brett Favre. Like, don't try to live up to Brett Favre, especially nowadays. Be
Facts.
Jordan, be
For
Jordan. But
real.
like, yeah, like that's the one thing. Like you could be a gunslinger, and that's kind of what he kind of is, and that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what he kind of was back in Vegas when he was in college. But yeah, the margin error, especially in the division that he can't have that much margin error. He got some defenses that he's gonna play against that's not gonna take it lightly.
Right.
And our ass beat them last year because of his play. So
Yeah. That's a fact. Hey, 2025, the only team to beat the Packers in 2025 is the Bears. I'm just saying.
and
Oh yeah, they
that's
lost
no
to
shit.
hey, it was crazy. But hey, Steve, let me know if I'm going too far before we move on. But I just gotta ask this. You think it's gonna be a little weirdness going on in that wide receiver room? Matthew Golden is now making the most money in the wide receiver room. Just hit me out. What Matthew Golden is now making the most money in the wide receiver room. Jaden Reed, after Golden was drafted, met with the Packers and was like, hold on, what's my role gonna be in this? Last season, Romeo Dobbs got suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. And Dontavian Wicks, he can't stay healthy pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And Christian Watson, he coming back from that ACL along with Josh Jacobs saying, we need a number one wide receiver. I'm looking too much into it, bro. Let me know.
No. That's just a sit back and watch type of shit right there. I just want to sit back and see how that shit gonna transpire. See me in what the season in January or whatever.
I got you.
I mean, because I mean, yeah, like with all that, especially I probably say the most glaring thing is the Romeo situation, and then Jordan, like, what the hell am I gonna be getting drafted? He getting
Yeah.
drafted, like, what's my bro gonna be?
Yeah.
And it's still not clear, and then you go get a damn near X wide receiver.
Yeah.
Let's see what's gonna happen.
For sure. All right, man. We move on to the Vikings. Bro, the Vikings had an outstanding offseason. Not even gonna lie to you. Address the trenches after trenches after trenches. And you ain't talking about just anybody. In a draft, they pick up Donovan Jackson. There you go out there and you sign a bunch of other guys to your team, like a excuse me here. Damn. Oh, you pick up Javon Hargrave. You go get a guard and Will Fries, a center and Ryan Kelly. So they addressed the trenches out the wazoo, and they even got defensive lineman Jonathan Allen, bro.
Mhm.
Like, but the biggest thing is how do we feel about JJ McCarthy? How you feeling about, bro? That's a Michigan product. I watched him. He a system quarterback. You know, KOC got the system.
And
But
that's why,
can he perform though? It's the question.
and that's the thing is like we just gonna have to see with him because like it, he don't. I mean, if you allow him to fuck shit up, he can. But that's the thing, you don't allow him to do certain things. So if you just bro play through the system, and you with Kevin O'Connell, one of the best coaches in the league, easily probably if not the best coach in the division. I don't like a lot of people is trying to harp on JJ McCarthy, and I'm like I get it because I'm not sold on him. I'm not the biggest fan either, but I'm a fan of that organization, not
Yeah.
necessarily of the Vikings because fuck them, but I'm a fan of how they run things. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of they coach it. I'm a fan of how they play. I'm a fan of the moves that they made, and quite frankly, I think a lot of this division is sleeping on the Vikings.
I think that could very well be true because number one, you already looked at the offensive side. Running back good, wide receivers good, tight end good. Offensive line, you just beefed that up again. Then on the
Tremendous.
defensive side, you got a maniac and Brian Flores calling the plays. And then you go get Hargrave. Then you go get
Then a fool
Jonathan
ass
Allen.
DT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like you go out there. So I'm with you. This is probably one of the more underrated teams in this division and the NFC, as long as JJ McCarthy. Bro, me personally, I think you just let the coach do the coach. Let him
Mhm.
do his thing. Don't try to be something that you're not. He gonna scheme. It's crazy how Kevin O'Connell scheme open the best wide receiver in the league, and he be wide
That
open.
nigga just be streaming across the middle of the field. Like, bro.
Like wide open. Like it just be crazy. So that yeah, bro. I think the Vikings, they definitely gonna be a tough matchup for anybody. Personally, that's just how I'm looking because
Yeah, I'm
you
not
got
taking them lightly.
that, yeah, you can't take them lightly because again, the defense is going defense with Brian Flores. If you get locked in on 3rd and 6, he coming. 3rd and 10, you absolutely know he coming. So it did Kevin O'Connell the way he gonna scheme things up. The man had an astronaut come off the couch and come perform for them,
Got him
and just
another
got
contract.
Sam Darnold paid $100 million. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
like I said, if Kevin can make any quarterback work, he can make JJ work. Like
For real.
that's how it is. He saved too many careers.
For sure. But hey, we moving on up and talking about the Chicago Bears before we get up out of here and put it on wax with
Ugh.
how this division gonna lay out. Stevo, all the additions the Chicago Bears made, we damn near won off season again. But we know that don't matter in Chicago. Bear, with all these things that has transpired these last few weeks with the Chicago Bears, what's your temperature on the Bears right now?
I don't know. It's so like last year put me in such a mindset where I just don't trust them no matter how good they look. That I can't sit here and be like, "Oh, this should definitely be a good team. We definitely should be one of the top teams in the division or in the NFL." Like on paper, yeah, we beat up the O-line. We got another tight end. Now we got two of them. Wide receivers room is pretty good. We got another wide receiver we drafted. The running back room still a little bit shaky, but if you a Kyle Manung guy, you probably feel a little bit better as well. But
Mhm.
and then defense, we beefed it up a little bit, and of our players that was injured are coming back. So should we be good? Yes. Will we be good? I have not a fucking clue.
For real. We had hey man, we gotta settle for the yeah, Ben Johnson just treated Cole Komet. We like, oh damn, ain't that what a coach supposed to do? But apparently Matt Eberflus, he wasn't doing it. But nonetheless, I'm with you,
Oh
bro.
shit.
The Bears have demoralized us to the umpteenth degree to where we like, man, all these good players, you go get a Hall of Famer in Joe Tooney. You go get a very good setter in Drew Dalman. You go get a guy that's coming off injury, but really, really good when he's healthy in Jonah Jackson. You still got your right tackle that's pretty damn good. You go and draft the big fella
Ozzy.
out of Boston College. Like, and then you go get veterans on the defensive side to help, like Grady Jarrett. You
Jared,
expected these guys to step forward, but still, man, we got our heart snatched out last season. The Bears almost tore this family apart.
bro. Bad. I don't think we ever going to London as a friend group at all. That
Cancel
shit over.
all trips to London for real. Because
'Cause
after London, it was over.
it was over. Like I still feel like it should be a documentary for what the fuck happened on that plane ride back
Well, bro,
because
30 for 30 need to drop.
'cause that shit just don't make sense. But like I said, like yeah, like we should on paper be able to rival all three of these teams that we just mentioned before. It's just about seeing them do it. I'm at to the point. We not one of these delusional bear fans. Oh, Caleb Williams is gonna be MVP. I don't know what the fuck this nigga gonna look like.
That's a fact, bro. But how you feeling about Caleb Williams? You feel like there's a lot of pressure on him ever since the article no one cares about? Because I personally don't care about it, but the old farts of Chicago media is still wanting to drag it out. He absolutely has to speak and let us know. No, he don't, because you knew coming into this organization that you was concerned too if the Bears can build around him. But how you feeling about Caleb? Is there a lot
I
of
feel
pressure
like
on him?
it's the same pressure that has been here.
Yeah.
Dude, we need a quarterback. That's it. We don't give a damn about all these stories. We don't give a damn about your dad. We don't give a damn about your fingernails. We don't give a damn about your weak ass wardrobe choices. We don't give a fuck about none of that. Can you win? We don't like, and he to me, he just has any other number one pick if they go to a big franchise expectation. If Shador would have had went to New York, he would have had the same expectation like Jackson Dart do. Even though it's not the same because he's the 25th pick. But if you look at every person that went to a major market as a top pick, they're especially if they was that motherfucker coming out of college, a Heisman Trophy winner, like I don't think it's no new added pressure that he ain't used to. The motherfucker been surrounding himself with pressure since he was 14. So like one thing I'm not worried about is like he seems to like to put himself in uncomfortable situations. So I'm not too worried about the pressure. It's regular pressure that any other quarterback would have had to come in and deal with.
Yeah, and Ben, I'm tell you this, it's gonna be. I agree with you. I think that the pressure's always been there. It's gonna be there, especially because you got guys coming out again. The old farts talking about in 3 years. I don't think Caleb Williams is gonna be here. You know, some people that was never on board with Caleb Williams, they're gonna take that and run with that for the entirety of the next 3 years. And then you look at Ben Johnson. Hey, Ben Johnson. They say you a maniac when it come to attention to details. So if I come out and I see some BS, bro, we own your ass. I'm just letting you know we gotta hold ourselves accountable. That's what we keep telling people over here. But hey, y'all know how we end every episode. Stevo, 1 through 4, how it's gonna shape out in this division.
I think it's gonna be Vikings, Bears, Green Bay, Detroit.
You said the Vikings winning this division?
I think so.
Damn. Hold on now. I ain't see that coming. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. And
I
I
think
hate.
they, I think they that O line made them significantly better than Green Bay, and I think it makes them rival Detroit. I
Mm,
just think Detroit gonna drop off.
mm. Ooh, my boy put it on wax. I ain't mad at it, Stevo. But hey, I think I was ready to give it to, but you got a good fucking point. But I'm going Packers, Bears, Vikings, Detroit. That's how I'm gonna say it shape out in that order. But hey, whoo, it's gonna be interesting.
No, for sure.
Can't
Best,
wait to
this is
see
the
how
best
this goes.
division, so it's gonna be the most entertaining. Well, I'm not gonna say that one of the most entertaining divisions because
I
that
think
AFC.
AFC West.
I about to say that AFC West, a goddamn, it's literally the West, the Wild Wild West.
Facts. It's crazy. But hey, Stevo, you got anything left, bro?
Now,
Well, that is it from us today, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another, excuse me, another episode of NFL Central. Before y'all get up out of here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well, man. Let us know your thoughts below. Let us know how the division is going to shape out. And y'all already know, man, make sure y'all always love football. We going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.